Welcome to the 2016 Friendswood 4th of July celebration. My name is Dave Smith.
And I'm Sally Branson. Thank you so much for joining us in this wonderful tradition of celebrating the 4th of July in a big way here in Friendswood. You know, recently, Dave, I was visiting with our official city historian, Joyce Baker, just to see if I could get some of the facts on the 4th of July celebrations in the past here in Friendswood.
Well, for years I've heard that the 4th of July celebration, the parade, has been going on since 1895.
You know, a lot of people do believe that, and we do have the record for the longest running 4th of July celebration uninterrupted. Being settled by Quakers, we didn't break for any of the wars. They were conscientious objectors. However, the parades didn't actually start until the 50s.
You know, we've got some fabulous traditions here in the city of Friendswood, our 4th of July celebration being one of them. And one of our traditions with that parade is to have it started off by our chief of police. Our chief, Robert Wieners, begins our parade for us today in his car. A lot of folks know that Bob is originally from the Massachusetts area. He graduated from Boston State College, and also went to the U.S. Marine Corps' Officer Candidate School. He's got a Master of Arts degree in National Security and Strategic Studies from the Naval College Command.
Our community is so blessed to have Chief Wieners. And right behind the chief are the Knights of Columbus. They were actually founded in 1882 on the principles of charity, unity, fraternity, and patriotism. How appropriate to have them in each of our 4th of July parades for as long as I can remember, Dave.
Absolutely. The Knights of Columbus chapter that we have here, they're actually the Bishop Gwendolyn Nold Assembly 2084. They consist of about 275 Catholic men, all who are 4th degree Knights from both Friendswood, Pearland, Alvin, and Manville, and the Houston area. We'll have about 40 to 50 marchers that are joined by some of those visiting Knights, and you'll see some that are actually seated in the decorated trailer behind the marching Knights. And Sally, here comes our Grand Marshal for the 2016 Friendswood 4th of July Parade, Dick Daugird.
Dick Daugird's been a resident of Friendswood for over 45 years, and he's actually been a state farm agent for over 48. He is also president of the nonprofit org, the Lighthouse charity team.
Horacene and I moved here in 1972 when Friendswood was still a young town with a population of about 5,000 people. We were in process of building a new home, and we built it on Shadow Bend, which is a side street off of Main, and that's where McDonald's is located, and if you can visualize a dirt road there. And little did we know how much the area would boom and populate, how good the schools would be, how good the police department would be, the number of quality residents that would be drawn to Friendswood, and the quality of life that we have here. We built a business in 1977. We built the Lighthouse in 1984. So we've lived here 44 years. We'll celebrate 49 years of marriage coming up this next year. So the majority of our life has been here in Friendswood. The Lighthouse charity team has become the icon in the community more than my insurance agency. The Lighthouse charity team has helped so many people and is probably so well known to the residents that have been here for the last 30 plus years, and the new residents that are coming in to take advantage of our services when they're in need. We've been in the parade before, we put trailers in the parade, but we've never had this type of an honor bestowed on us. It's a humbling feeling to be picked for this, but it's a very, very good feeling to be known in the community and have this type of an honor for us.
We're so glad to have Dick Daugird as our Grand Marshal this year.
And Dave, here comes our mayor, Kevin Holland.
There's Mayor Kevin and Mary Ann riding in the parade for us today. Kevin was re-elected to mayor in 2015, and look who's right behind him. They've got the Dorset family with Michelle, Dre, Chanel, and Amanda.
And Mayor Pro Tem Jim Hill and his sweet wife Debbie. We're tickled to have them.
We are so happy to have our local elected officials with us today. Here comes Councilman Steve Rocky.
There's Steve Rocky. Steve's been very involved in our community, both Historical Society, the Fast Swim program. He has many talents. And right behind him is Councilman Billy Enoch.
There's the Enochs family.
Did you know that Billy, we have several councilmen currently that have served, and here comes Mike Foreman and his lovely wife, Lori. We're so tickled to have them, and his son Jim is driving.
Mike's a retired astronaut, and right behind Mike comes
John.
Councilman John Scott.
There's John and his lovely daughter, Haley. So happy to have them in the parade today. And Councilman Carl Gustafson and his wife, Teresa, and their beautiful daughters.
You know, Sally, we were blessed to have numerous local as well as state and national elected officials here with us today. And right behind our city councilman is our Congressman Randy Weber and his wife, Brenda.
He was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in November 2012 to represent the 14th Congressional District of Texas. And that was our state senator, Larry Taylor, shooting off some fireworks. There's Larry Taylor with his mom, Arlene, and his wife, Carrie, driving. We're so happy to have him here. I have a little story I may not have time to tell, but sometime y'all can pay me good money to tell you something that Dave Smith and Larry Taylor started in high school. And no, it was a good thing. It wasn't anything they got in trouble for.
Sally, right behind Larry is our state representative, Greg Bonin. I know that's his wife, Kim, with him.
We're very fortunate to have Greg Bonin living right here in our community. And here comes our tax assessor collector for Galveston County, Cheryl Johnson. And right behind her is Judge Kathleen McCumber. She's been a Justice of Peace serving Friendswood since 2003.
Here's Constable Jerry Fisher in that blue Mustang.
And right behind him is School Board Trustee Dr. Matt Robinson. Happy to have him, and his sweet wife Pam is in the car with him.
Another one of our judges for Galveston County is Judge Carrie Neves. One of our county commissioners, Ken Clark, and his family. And right behind him is our Sheriff, Henry Tracie. Now, I'm sure this is a little tongue-in-cheek here. As you saw, our Grand Marshal, one of his philanthropic endeavors is the Lighthouse charity team, and they've got the sign on one of their vehicles today talking about why not Dick for president.
Gotta admire that enthusiasm. We like that enthusiasm.
The charity team works tirelessly whenever we have emergency events that take place locally as well as around the state. And they have numerous vehicles that they're able to help with. They're most famous for their ability to be able to roll out hundreds of meals in the shortest of notice to be able to feed people, first responders, and anytime there's a situation to where there's a problem that has to be taken care of for our fire and police departments.
And I want to give them credit. As much as they can support huge events, there's no event too small either. They will help out in any way that they can with their vehicles. So great group, great group. Now we've got Keep Friendswood Beautiful. Figgy is in the parade today, the official mascot of Keep Friendswood Beautiful. Keep Friendswood Beautiful is a city board made up of 20 volunteers dedicated to enhance the aesthetic appearance of Friendswood and to encourage residents to take active role in maintaining that appearance.
Sally, right behind Figgy is the Chick-fil-A cow. I know they were one of our sponsors this morning, sponsor of the parade. Glad to have them with us. And here is a long-standing tradition with our Chamber of Commerce. You know, you can buy your tickets to win that truck anytime as you approach the 4th of July. And look at these kids.
This is one of my favorite parts of this parade, David. All these children have a chance to decorate their bikes, dress up themselves, and they get to ride in the 4th of July parade.
It doesn't get much better than that. You know, one of our special riders today was a young lady named Chelsea. She wanted to send a special shout out to her Friendswood heroes. She's always wanted to be a firefighter herself, but due to her physical limitations, we thank her just for her enthusiasm rather than her ability to fight fires. But she wanted to thank those first responders and show her patriotism today by participating in the bikes. And today we've got some gymnastics for you.
the Shooting Stars Girl Scout community. These are Girl Scouts of all ages from Friendswood and the surrounding area. We are Shooting Stars Girl Scouts community, proudly serving girls in Friendswood, Pearland, and the Southbelt area of Houston, and helping girls grow strong. The Shooting Stars community has over 1,400 registered Girl Scouts, with over 500 of those from right here in Friendswood.
The AAA Gymnastics Academy, bringing all those enthusiastic kids to us, is celebrating 37 years of training gymnastics and dancers and cheerleaders. They're just 2 blocks away from the Friendswood Library, right on Friendswood Drive.
And here come our Friendswood High School cheerleaders. The cheer program had another great year. All competitive squads placed first in their division at the Lone Star Cheer Classic in Houston. The cheerleaders also competed in the first ever UIL state championship. They placed in the top 20 among 6A division schools.
Sally, right behind the cheerleaders is our football program from Friendswood High School. The 2015 and 16 athletic year will be remembered as our second year in 6A, and it was a success for the Fighting Mustangs. Of the 8 major UIL team sports, FHS athletic teams achieved the playoffs in 6 of them. That's a fantastic achievement. And right behind that football team,
Friendswood Mighty Mustang Band. Here's the FHS Mighty Mustang Band under the direction of Gregory Dick, Aaron Brown, Julio Sanchez, and color guard director Nicole Clyburn. They are currently 282 band and color guard students strong for the 2016-17 school year.
You know, in 2001, the band was a state semifinalist at the 4A UIL state marching contest. In 2003, 5, and 9 was named the state runner-up, or second place in the same competition. The Friendswood High School Marching Band has earned 15 years of consecutive sweepstakes in both marching and concert performances. Congratulations to the Friendswood High School Marching Band.
And now the pride and joy of Friendswood High School, the Friendswood Wranglerettes, under the direction of Alyssa Goza and Assistant Director Caitlin Gallagher. The Wranglerettes are 2016 state champions and 18-time national champions.
Wow.
Congrats, Wranglerettes.
And yes, it takes that truck to move the band.
And right behind that truck are the buses to get those children to those games. Students, excuse me, I shouldn't say children. I'm showing my age there, Dave. Sorry about that. The FISD Transportation Department maintains and operates a fleet of 50 school buses that range from 35 to 72 passengers. You know, this is showing my age again. I remember when there was only one school bus in town. There's our superintendent, our school board president.
You know, those buses operate 1,150 extracurricular trips per school year. It's amazing the amount of kids that they move around.
I just wanted to mention our superintendent, Trish Hanks, and our school board president, Dr. Rebecca Hillenberg, were both on one of those school buses, Dave. Wonder where they're going to take them.
You know, this group of kids is a Friendswood lacrosse group, a relatively new endeavor here in Friendswood, but they are doing fantastic. We want to thank, they would like to thank the family of Lance Corporal Canning for his leadership, dedication, and sacrifice to our country.
And right behind them are the Friendswood Colts. They have served the Friendswood community as the tradition of youth, football, and cheer for over 40 years. In 1973, the Colts had provided an extensive youth tackle football and cheer program to the youth of Friendswood. It is their goal to provide a safe and wholesome atmosphere where kids can learn and participate with ideals of sportsmanship, scholarship, and physical fitness, all while having a good time along the way.
That is the Prince of Princesses in that Corvette. And right behind them is a truck and float, yeah, representing the City Animal Hospital. They've been serving Friendswood for the past 5 years. A group of dedicated veterinarian care professionals. They're devoted to health and longevity of your furry family members. You know, this parade would not be complete without representation from our Friendswood Volunteer Fire Department. That's one of their traditions for all of our fire members and their families to be able to ride on these trucks during our 4th of July parade.
The dedication of these volunteers is wonderful. Many of them are firemen in other communities, and they volunteer their time here in Friendswood. We are very, very fortunate to have them in our community, and the level of expertise that they provide, we benefit from greatly.
You know, Sally, a lot of folks may not realize that you can support your local volunteer fire department on your water bill.
That's right, $6 every 2 months. What a bargain that is.
Absolutely. That's a great way to support them, is by making that little donation on your water bill every other month.
It's well worth it for me.
Sally, take a look at this truck coming up here.
Balance Epic.
Yeah, this is a tribute to our veterans in this truck and this boat. This is a fantastic parade entry. That patriotic Jeep right there that's Thy Epperson State Farm Insurance Agency. They've been providing insurance agency services in the South Benton Bay Area for the last 12 years.
I think Thee is a 12-year State Farm agent and is a strong supporter of the Friendswood Mustangs.
Hey, Sally, this is a great family coming up here in this parade entry. This is the O'Farrell Realty Incorporated floats. They've been serving the Friendswood community for over 60 years.
That's a long time, Dave. They do a great job. They're great community supporters.
Sally, one of our entries coming up here is the Bernardo de Galva Society of the Children of the American Revolution. That is a mouthful, but they are a National Society of Children of the American Revolution with a lineage that stretches back to the history of Spain's participation in the American Revolution along the Gulf Coast. You'll recognize the Bernardo de Galvez name coming from Galveston.
Very good.
This is a special parade entry from our special friends. They began in 1982 at Mary Queen Catholic Church in Friendswood, and they embrace about 55 participants in our community who have varying degrees of physical and mental disabilities. We are so glad to have them with us today.
And right behind them is another entry. It's a 1925 boiler chemical fire truck on a Ford Model T chassis.
That served in Illinois from 1926 to 1950. It belongs to Terry Parker. What a great parade entry.
And now we have a Texas Beer Refinery. It's a local brewery and tap room. And I think I recognize what's coming up now.
This is the Space City Corvette Club.
Their goal is to raise money for charity for St. Jude Research Hospital, Texas Equestrian, and UTMB Scholarship Fund. They have over 150 members, several from Pearland area, and represent over 30 members in the parade today. The club recently donated over $28,000 to St. Jude Children's Research. In the fall, they have a goal of, a fundraiser called Good Grub and Gear Car Show at the Friendswood Park. They'll have vendors, auction items, awards, and fun for the entire family, and the proceeds will go to the Texas EquiSearch.
Those are some fine looking vehicles coming by.
Thank you for their contributions to our community. I see something coming up behind the Corvettes, military Jeeps. Weren't you telling me something about that the other day?
You know, there's an ongoing discussion about where the name Jeep came from. There are two schools of thought. So when the military commissioned those vehicles to be built, they described to the manufacturers that they wanted a general purpose vehicle. They wanted something that could go anywhere and do anything. And so that general purpose, or GP, is thought to be the origin of the word Jeep, that GP. But there are those that argue a different line, and they believe that the word Jeep came from a Popeye cartoon.
No way.
Absolutely. There was a character in the early Popeye cartoon strips named Eugene the Jeep. And Eugene could go anywhere and do anything. And there are those that believe that the military personnel that used these vehicles in the World Wars nicknamed that vehicle after that Popeye character.
I think that's how myths get started, Dave.
I believe so.
Well, this is the Bluebonnet Military Motor Pool, and it's a group of military vintage vehicles owned in the greater Houston area. And isn't it great to see these vehicles, Dave? Takes us back in time.
You know, Sal, I think it was patented that was credited with saying that these vehicles, the American-made Jeep, is one of the reasons why we won the Second World War. Their ability to be able to go anywhere and do anything made all the difference, particularly in the Battle of the Bulge.
I did not know that.
Sal, this is an antique tractor. This is part of the Bluebonnet Antique Tractor Club. That's a vintage farm tractor right there. This group of tractor owners consists of about 100 members, and they own over 300 old implements that have been retired at one time or another. And that one was owned by the Pearland Fire Chief and Fire Marshal Larry Steed. They got it in the spring of 2005.
You know, you talk about the 4th of July Steering Committee. You know, they meet year-round, Dave. Like, as soon as this is over, they have a meeting in August to start planning the next year's 4th of July. And these people put in countless hours, especially as we get closer to the day of the event.
But that's a fun group to work with. They have a good
group.
time all year long as they prepare for the 4th. You know, Sally, some tractors are faster than others.
And some are skinnier than others.
Yes, they are.
And here comes the Houston Area Flat Fender Jeep Club, a group of Houston area vintage Jeep owners coming out to celebrate the 4th of July with Friendswood. it isn't just the Friendswood Volunteer Fire Department that shows up. You'll see folks from surrounding areas like our Forest Bend Fire Department, our Pearland Fire Department. They all come out and support each other, and it's just an amazing thing to see how well all these different volunteer fire departments work together and they support each other. It's just a fantastic thing to witness.
Those mutual aid agreements that we have with our local communities are invaluable. Hey Sally, this is a parade entry called the Pearland Area Roadrunners. So there are over 200 members, and they have run in the Houston Chevron Marathon and in other marathons in the area. They were started by just a small group of friends who all met while they were running, and they have a great time tearing up the treads.
And here comes my favorite place to eat, La Casita.
Oh my goodness.
Owned by Mr. and Mrs. Castillo. So happy to have them in the parade today. If you haven't been out to La Casita, you need to get yourself out there for some great Mexican food.
Look at this fantastic float.
Anson Jones Masonic Lodge, a lodge of Freemasons under the jurisdiction of the Grand Lodge of Texas. The Masons are the world's oldest and largest fraternity. Local membership is elected annually. This year's worshipful master is Gary Morgan of Friendswood.
Sally, that's our representatives from the Daughters of the American Revolution.
So happy to have them in that parade today.
That chapter has 150 members. And look at this beautiful fire engine coming by us right now. That is a restored Circus Calliope and antique fire truck from the Carnes Parade Crew. They love a parade.
Lee Wilson is driving a patriotic Jeep driven by Lee, Rhonda, and Alexandria. Thanks to all who serve our community and our country. This is the Tyra Ranch. The kids were heard saying, "Papa, can we borrow our fire truck?" Well, what do you know? The old fire truck, you entered the parade. The fire truck is a 1988 Pierce fire engine owned by and restored Richard Tyra.
And there's a chance for us to thank our heritage gardeners who have a beautiful entry today. They've been serving Friendswood for over 50 years, and they provided the city with our Blue Star Memorial, which honors our veterans. And look, Sally, these are the Kids City Friendswood.
Locally owned and operated child care facility that opened in 2011. Their goal is to provide superior child care and preschool education for children 6 weeks to 12 years. And I think we have another Corvette club upon us today.
Sally, this is the San Jacinto Corvette Club. They're the oldest in Texas. They started back in 1957. Did you know that the Chevrolet Corvette is built in Bowling Green, Kentucky? That's north of Dallas.
Not too bad for a bunch of folks from Kentucky. What do you think?
Sally, this gives us another opportunity to thank some of our parade sponsors as we watch these beautiful Corvettes go by.
Like the ACU of Texas Credit Union.
The RE/MAX skydiving team that will be performing at our evening presentation tonight.
LEXUS of Clear Lake.
Those folks at McCree Ford.
And McCree Ford Insurance.
Smith Speed Industrial, and of course, Chick-fil-A.
This is Club Scout Pack 445, Girl Scout Troop 14035, formed in the fall of 2014 for 12 kindergarten girls. Currently, they have 12 girls going on to second grade. 10 are original troop members. They make up our troop, and 11 are at the parade today. The purpose of Girl Scouting is to build confidence and independence in girls.
And right behind them is a Brownie Girl Scout troop, formed in the fall of 2014 as well. Now look at this, Sally. We've got the best shot range coming up here.
That's our very own Matt Fleming. He's driving Best Shots 1968 deuce and a half with local artist Ken Prada's portrait on our local hero.
Beautiful. Sal, we talked a little bit earlier about the Lighthouse cooking team and their ability to be able to roll out and support the community in times of crisis or when a fundraiser is needed. And this is some of their beautiful equipment that has all been built by volunteers and volunteer donations. some of their cooking equipment that they rolled out for us to see today.
You know, there's been many times, and they've had 4 different areas supporting nonprofits, less fortunate, little leagues, and young children with terminally ill diseases. The Lighthouse team does this with all team volunteers.
They've got a big 22,000 square foot facility down in Galveston, which was donated by one of their major sponsors, Del Papi Distributing, a few years ago. They've got over 200 volunteers that roll out to help the community whenever it's needed. They're a fantastic group. That's one of the reasons why we're recognizing and have invited Dick Daugird to be our Grand Marshal today. He was the founder of this Lighthouse charity team.
Not a one of them in the organization gets a paycheck or is even on the board of directors, so this speaks very well of them, Dave.
Absolutely. This is Trinity Oaks. They represent an assisted living facility over in Pearland. They provide meals and housing and fun trips to their residents there at Trinity Oaks in Pearland.
And right behind them is Camp Gladiator. It's an award-winning outdoor adult group fit company. Camp Gladiator's mission is to be positively impact the physical fitness and ultimately the lives of as many people as possible. And next up, the Trail Life USA Troop. This is the Trail Life USA and American Heritage Girls and faith-based organizations encouraging school-aged youth to participate in outdoor adventures, crafts, community service, and educational opportunities, preparing today's youth to be tomorrow's hometown heroes.
Followed by Scotty's Hot Rod Garage, antique and hot rod restorations. That's a nice looking vehicle they've got there. That little ZR1 Corvette golf cart, it's called a one-off. It's a one-on hand built by Scotty's Garage. It took 2 years for them to build that little Corvette golf cart. And here we've got Alexandra Castillo, 2016 Royal International Miss Lone Star Princess. That's a good-looking old car submitted in the parade by Jeff Burke.
And right behind him is the National Elite Pageants. And behind them is the Whitetail Crew. I think they can make your truck look pretty spiffy there, Dave, if you give them a shot at it.
Man, that makes for a serious hunting trip.
Behind them are some of our lovely ladies, the Lunar Rendezvous Festival, a 501c3 nonprofit organization formed to preserve the rich history of space sciences in the Bay Area. They're dedicated to providing community support, including college scholarships, youth development and educational programs, funding for the arts and preservation of the Bay Area Museum. That's a very lucky young man sitting behind those 2 gorgeous girls, don't you think?
Sally, that flag is draped across a van for My Dojo Friendswood. They offer kids martial arts, summer camps, and after-school programs, and adult kickboxing. That is a gorgeous old car, Carl. Entry number 129 that just came by us. For you motorcycle enthusiasts, a couple of nice looking bikes coming by. This is an interesting vehicle coming up here, Sally.
This is a 1964 Chrysler New Yorker used in the filming of the movie JFK, and driving it is John and Tracie Shields.
Sally, one of our Forest of Friendswood families is driving that beautiful old car right there in a memorial to Colonel Philip Bossert.
And that vehicle is owned by Terry McKee.
And that's Michael Moore right behind him in a white and signet red Corvette.
Ooh, 1958 Corvette. And there's another Lighthouse Charity Cooking Team vehicle.
That's Katie's Seafood, also one of the sponsors for the Lighthouse Charity Team. You could cook a lot of crawfish in that pot, Sally.
No kidding, no kidding. They weren't kidding when they said they had a lot of vehicles for the Lighthouse cooking. We also want to thank the City of Friendswood and the 4th of July Steering Committee would like to thank the following organizations for their contributions and donations. Boom 92 FM.
Dunn Brothers Coffee.
In Graphics.
The Friendswood Exchange Club.
Friendswood Methodist Church.
New Hope Church Friendswood.
HEB of Friendswood.
And Waste Connections. Those are some of our sponsors for this festivity today.
I believe we have right here in front of us the Rockin Riders, Dave.
Yes, we do.
It's an online group of horse lovers who get together to trail ride, camp, train, and share their love for all things equine.
Sally, to round out our sponsors for today, we want to thank Interstate Barricades and Lansdowne Moody,
Larry's Florist and Sunbelt Rentals,
that Lighthouse charity team, and Sonic of Friendswood.
Terry Vaughn RV.
Now, Sal, coming up here at the rim is our Friendswood police officers and all of our 4th of July Steering Committee members. We want to thank them for all the work that they've done in putting this parade and the festivities together today. This year's chairman was Tommy McDonald, and that's James Toney, our park director.
They work very hard all year long to pull this together. We appreciate all their efforts. And this is the 4th of July Steering Committee. Thank you for joining us. The 2016 Friendswood July 4th Grand Parade is a presentation of the City of Friendswood.
Kevin Holland, Mayor, and Roger Rucker, City Manager. Thank you for being with us.
Have a great 4th.